New life. A few years passed, Natasha came of age and, luckily for her, found a job at a brewery in Moscow. Having to leave the institution that had been her home for 14 years, the girl, empowered by her new job, requested and obtained custody of Kira, who was still a minor, to take her with her. After a few months of working with thrift and dedication in the brewery, Natasha was noticed by the factory owner. The man, quite rich and powerful, became infatuated with the girl and began to bother her in various ways, both explicit and not, until one day he summoned her to his office. Arriving at the door of her employer's office, Natasha knocked to enter. Vladimir Pukhanov, president of the namesake brewery, remained seated behind his desk while reading some documents. "Come in." Natasha entered reverently. "Mr. Pukhanov, you sent for me?" Pukhanov, putting down the documents he was holding. "Yes, Miss Barakova. Please, have a seat." He gestured for the girl to sit. "I can call you Natasha, right?" Natasha, as she sat down. "Of course, Mr. President." Pukhanov, brazenly. "Just call me Vladimir." Natasha, after a faint, embarrassed smile. "I hope I haven't made any mistakes at work." Pukhanov, condescendingly. "Quite the contrary, dear Natasha. I wanted to call you in to compliment you on your commitment." He stood up and began to walk around the room. Natasha, not very surprised, tried to remain vague. "Even though you visited the department where I work in recent weeks, I didn't think you checked so scrupulously what each individual worker does." "Thank you." Pukhanov, sitting on the right side of the desk, crossing his legs in front of the young woman, smiled. "Of course I evaluate and check everyone who works in my company, dear Natasha. All the more so for those who deserve to be followed more closely." Natasha managed another uncomfortable smile as her boss continued. "You see, I'm of the opinion," Pukhanov stood up again and started walking behind the girl's back, "that those who have impressive numbers should be held in higher regard by the company and hold a higher position." Having said that, he placed his hands on the employee's shoulders. Natasha gave a slight start and with a small movement of her body tried to shrug off her boss's hands, turning her face to the left to speak to him. "You are too kind, Mr. Pukhanov." Pukhanov, this time sitting on the left side of the desk, interjected helpfully. "Vladimir, dear Natasha, Vladimir, I do admire, however, this desire of yours to remain detached. As I told you a few weeks ago, during one of my visits to the factory, I like to know the details both in the professional and personal spheres. So what would you say if tonight, or one of these evenings," he lit a cigarette and, after taking the first drag, "we discussed a possible promotion for you as department head, or even something more over dinner?" Natasha, who had immediately guessed her interlocutor's real intentions, replied by feigning naivete, smiling. "Thank you very much for the offer, but I don't see myself managing the responsibility of a department." She rose gracefully from the chair. "I'm very happy as a simple worker, but thank you again for considering me for the promotion. Now I'll go back to the floor before I get told off by my department head. Have a good day." With that, Natasha left Pukhanov's office, who, as soon as he was alone in his study, commented, "Bitch, sooner or later I'll have you in my bed."